Sheep. Are you part of the collective or are you an individual? Do you allow yourself to be shamed and emasculated by the collective, by the mainstream narrative, by that blue pill matrix? Do you allow them to pimp you like that and treat you like you're a little bitch? Or are you strong enough to go against that blue pill narrative and all of the social conditioning you've been brainwashed with your entire life? Are you strong enough to go against it? Even when all of your friends out there and all of the people in your social circle are still very blue pill. How strong are you? Are you a wolf or a sheep? Because wolves can travel alone. They don't need to be part of the pack. Sheep cannot. Sheep constantly need the protection of other sheep. Sheep are really just one big collective. Sheep need to stay plugged into the matrix because that's all they've ever known. And sheep just aren't strong enough to go their own way, to unplug from all of that social conditioning. Now, how does this relate to society? Just look around out there. Most of your friends, most of your family members, most of the people you work with, most of the guys you know, they're all sheep. They're all blue pill. They're all still plugged into the matrix. They're all still living with those old blue pill idealisms, trying to fulfill that blue pill social narrative. How many wolves do you actually see out there in society? How many wolves do you actually see out there strong enough and masculine enough to go their own way, to not follow the beaten path, to stay an individual and not adopt the beliefs and the values of the collective just because they're afraid of being kicked out of the tribe? They're too afraid to abandon that blue pill matrix because that's all they've ever known their entire lives. Their whole life, their whole existence is built on that matrix. So much so that they can't imagine ever abandoning it. They can't imagine what life would be like without it. They can't see beyond the surface. So they stay plugged in just because it's safer. And it allows them to be more complacent. It allows them to not have to step out of their comfort zone. They're sheep, right? At the end of the day, that's what they are. They're sheep. And eventually, within time, one of the wolves will get to that flock of sheep. And you'll see this happen with many of the guys in your social circle, right? They buy into those old blue pill idealisms where they act like sheep and they become part of the collective, right? They try to fulfill their blue pill beliefs and that blue pill narrative. You know, they might try to marry their high school sweetheart, their college sweetheart, thinking that she's going to be the unicorn of a wife that is going to nurture him and love him for who he truly is. And then one day in the future, after all of this emotional investment, financial investment in her, thinking she was his best friend, checks her email one day and he finds out that she's having sex with some random stranger that she just met. And she's giving this random stranger all the attention in the world and buying him gifts and just showering him with attention that he never got when he's the guy who put in all his emotional investment. And then, like a ton of bricks, he's hit with the realization that all these years he's allowed himself to become sheep. He's just allowed himself to become another sheep. Where the wolves are not so naive. So ask yourself, are you a wolf or a sheep? Are you part of a collective? Or are you an individual like you should be? Are you proud of your beliefs? Are you proud of your values? Are you proud of what you stand for? Are you willing to stand up in the face of injustice? Or will you buckle under the pressure when you get shamed? The thing you have to understand about becoming a wolf is you are essentially forging your own path. You are not following the beaten path. Okay, you're doing what others are unwilling to do. And essentially you're living out the life that others wish they can do, wish they could live out. Right? It's very similar to someone choosing to be a rock star versus, another cubicle drone. And some of the best movie advice that I ever got in my life came from the actual movie Rockstar, which came out in 2001, starring Mark Wahlberg, where one of his bandmates was laying like in a hospital, and he was giving him some advice, and he told him to let go of his girlfriend for the time being, because you only get a crack at, you only get a shot at the big time just once in life. So he said, let go of the girl and stop going in half-ass. Just stop going in half-ass. Live the dream. Live the life. That's what he told him. Live the life. Live the dream. Yeah, there is no virtue in becoming another sheep. The thing you have to understand about becoming a wolf, though, is it can be kind of a lonely life. And I did a coaching video on this previously called Red Pill Isolation, where many times you will feel isolated. You will feel isolated from your friends, from your society, from family members, just because they're not going to be able to comprehend the world in the way that you do. They're not going to be able to understand the world in the way that you do, with such boldness and such reality and such truthfulness. Most people can't handle that, believe it or not. That's why they're sheep. They're not willing to take any chances, take any risks. And believe me when I tell you, nothing good in life comes without risk. I've taken a shit ton of risks in life. With my business, with leaving my safe corporate job, with leaving certain relationships. I've had a lot of great women in my life. A lot of women that have gone on to get married. A lot of good women. These were good women. And I let them go. Just because I wanted to keep venturing. And I needed to go on my own. I couldn't take a partner with me. And I still feel the same way. I don't have any regrets about that, by the way. I was not ready for a marriage at that time. And I'm still not. I still want to keep exploring. It's hard to do that when you have a partner. Especially a girlfriend or wife. But I took a lot of risks in life. I left my corporate job. It was a 6-figure corporate job. All my expenses were paid. I was living in the best part of the city, and I had a top-down Mercedes. I had a girlfriend that was beautiful, young, and we both had great jobs. She was an accountant, and I was an advertising consultant. And we were making good money, and I chose to walk away. I chose to take a risk for something bigger, something larger than life, something that went against the beaten path, something that most people didn't understand, something that most people shunned me for, which was teaching pickup and dating advice, which I've successfully built a business out of, and I've replaced my corporate income. And I'm a lot more fulfilled teaching guys around the world, thousands of guys around the world that have success stories because of what they've learned from me, where I was not having that type of effect working in corporate America, right? I just wasn't having that type of effect. I was working a very safe corporate job. I was making money for my employer and myself, but I really affected nobody outside of that. So I took a huge risk, and it paid off. So part of being a wolf is you're going to have to take risks in life. I remember when I started my first business. Okay, I started my first business, and the buy-in was $10,000 that I didn't have. I didn't have $10,000. I didn't have anywhere close to that. But I wanted to buy into this business. So what I did was, and I don't advise doing this, but I took all of my credit cards and I took cash advances. I got all the cash I possibly could out of my credit cards. And then I went to Nevada. I went to a casino, and I put it all on a football game. right? I remember it was a Miami Dolphins game, and I put it all on the Dolphins game, 10,000. So I put down everything I had, knowing that if I had lost, I'd have to pay back these credit card companies. I didn't think that far ahead, because when you're in your 20s, you're often, naive, and you don't think that far ahead. You just figure everything's going to work out. So I put my money down on the Dolphins, and they covered the spread, and they won. And I got my $10,500, and I was able to buy into this business. But life is full of chances, and you have to take them. You have to take risks. And life really isn't even worth living if you don't take a few risks every now and then. When you see that beautiful girl, you got to take the risks. When my students see me approach like the hottest girl in the venue, and I'd claw her, and they're like, where do you work up the courage to do these things? I'm like, I don't. I love taking risks. I love seeing what'll happen. Right? Part of being a wolf. So you have to ask yourself, are you a wolf or a sheep? Because in those same venues, tons of sheep standing around. Tons of sheep not willing to talk to that hot girl. Tons of sheep just want to stay in their little comfort zone, hold their drink, right? You see those guys holding their drink by their chest, trying to pretend that they're just checking things out, but they're just sheep. Okay, they see that beautiful girl there. Why don't they approach them? They don't, because they're sheep. They're not willing to take that chance, take that risk of getting rejected. Where I am, I'm not afraid of rejection. I'm willing to trade the risk of rejection for the opportunity, to give myself the opportunity to win. Because I believe in myself, as you should. Okay, it's part of being a wolf. But unfortunately, the thing about being a wolf is it can be lonely at times, as I was saying, because most of your friends are not wolves. Most of your friends are part of the collective. Most of your friends are sheep, right? They're just following the mainstream narrative. They're fulfilling the mainstream narrative because they figure that's what they're supposed to do. They figure that's what the right thing to do, right? Because that's what they've been beat over the head with their entire lives. That's what they've been told is the status quo. So they spend the rest of their lives trying to fulfill the status quo, and they forget about their own individual dreams, their own individual wants, needs, desires. Because they're trying to fulfill the status quo. They're too afraid to step out and be different. The thing about being a wolf is, in order to become a wolf, you must trust yourself. You must trust your gut instincts. And you must believe in yourself. You must believe in yourself enough to trust the direction you're going in life. When nobody is telling you where to go, nobody is telling you what to do, and you're just not listening. Okay, you're forging your own path. You're making things happen. You're flying by the seat of your pants when everybody else is following a script. Okay, everybody else in society is following a script that's been laid out for them. Do this, then do that, then do that. Go to school, get good grades, and get a great job, and then meet your wife, and then get married. And everything will work out. You'll live happily ever after, right? That's what you're told. But that's not reality, is it? So part of being a wolf is trusting yourself, and trusting your gut, having faith in yourself. Something that people who are sheeple, just cannot do. Why can't they do that? It's because people who are sheep are very much tied into groupthink mentality. Okay? In order to make a decision out there, they often look to others to get their approval, rather than just deciding themselves. Okay? People who are sheep can't think for themselves. They can't decide for themselves. They need to be told what to do. They're not leaders. They're not natural born leaders. Much less do they have the capacity to become leaders, because they're so tied into that groupthink. They're so tied into that external validation. They need others to validate them and validate their ideas in order to feel good about themselves. Okay, this is why when you walk into a venue, you see most of the guys in that venue, like 99%, just standing up against a wall when there's plenty of hot girls there. Why aren't they talking to them? Why aren't they taking that risk? Because that would require them to think for themselves. That would require them to put themselves out there. That would require them to trust their gut instincts on what to say, what to do in the moment, which many people who are sheep cannot do. They can't think for themselves. People who are sheep are constantly at the whim of everybody else's opinion. Okay, everybody else's opinion. This is why all those guys you see in the venue standing against a wall, not talking to the pretty girl. The reason why they don't is because they're at the whim of everyone else's opinion. They live by the whim of everyone else's opinion. They can't function unless other people approve of them. Whereas the reason why I'm so successful at pickup now and cold approaching women is because I don't wait for external approval. I don't wait for external validation. When I see a hot girl I'm attracted to, I walk right up to her and I approach her. I could be standing in line at a bank and there's a hot girl. I will walk up to her and approach her. I do not care. Okay, I do not wait for external approval. I do not wait for that girl to look at me. You see a lot of these dating videos on YouTube. How to know if a girl likes you. If she looks at you for 3 seconds or more. If she gives you a nod. If she brushes her hair. I don't wait for that anymore. I used to when I was first starting out. I was looking for all those signs. You know, they call those yes girls, by the way. Girls who are yes girls who are just down to be picked up. I don't look for the yes girls. I don't care if she's a yes, no, or maybe these days. I just go. I find out once I start talking to her. Because a lot of times a girl who looks like a no girl turns out to be a yes girl. A girl who looks like a yes girl can turn out to be a no girl. You don't know until you walk up and talk to the girl. So I put myself out there. I don't wait. I go and approach. And that's why I'm so successful. Because I don't wait. I just do it. I don't wait for that external validation or approval. Okay? I don't care who's watching. I don't care if I get embarrassed if the girl blows me out. I just don't care. I live for me. I don't live for anybody else's opinion. Okay, I care what I think about myself, not what some stranger I've never met thinks of me. I do not care. Neither should you. It's part of being a wolf. So ask yourself, at the end of the day, are you a wolf or a sheep? Do you take those risks? Do you trust your gut instinct? Or do you need external validation first, approval? Do you make decisions? Or do you need the group to help you? Are you tied into that group think that so many collectivists and so many sheep are tied into? You know, the funny thing is, before I decided to do this coaching video, as with all my coaching videos, I always tend to do a little research. So I Googled being a wolf versus being a sheep. And sadly, I'm not even surprised, sadly, I came across a few leftist sites, a few SJWs. You know, as you know, all leftists and SJWs are generally collectivists in their mindset. Okay? They're generally sheep. They generally want you to be sheep too. They hate individuality. They don't want people to be individual. They don't want you going off the beaten path. You know why? Because they can't control you. And as I tell you about leftists, feminists, SJWs, they're all about control. They're all about controlling you, controlling what you think, controlling what you say, controlling what you believe, your values. They want to control you. Right? So when I Googled wolf versus sheep, sadly, I came across a few leftist sites where they literally said it's better to be a sheep. There was another late night talk show host who was, of course, another lefty, another male feminist, another blue-pilled beta cuck, who was talking about why being a sheep is better than being a wolf after all. And why sheeps, you know, it's nice to know that sheeps can finish first rather than wolves. You might think to yourself, why are they preaching this stuff? Why? Because they don't want you to be an individual. They want you to be a sheep, just like them. Okay? They want you to be just like them. And this is why I often say, as a red pill man, when you go red pill, you're going to deal with a lot of feelings of isolation. Okay? Because nobody else out there, it's going to seem like nobody else out there gets it. Most of your friends, family members, coworkers, they're not going to get it. They're not going to understand this red pill knowledge you have, this red pill awareness. They're going to think you're angry, you're bitter, you're psycho, you're crazy. What's wrong with you? You're overanalyzing everything. What's going on? You know, just follow the crowd. Just get in line and follow everybody. Like communists, right? That's how communist countries work. If you just want bread, you got to stand in line. They'll hand it to you. Okay? They don't want you thinking for yourself. That's what the collectivist wants. Leftists, feminists, the matriarchy. That's what they hate about this red pill stuff. That's what they hate about the patriarchy. It's all built on individuality. It's all built on going your own way and becoming a wolf, not a sheep. But what they want is they want you to stay a sheep so that they can control you, so that they control every facet of your life. This is why these people love government so much. Because they know government has the power to control people, and that's all government is about. It's controlling people, controlling people's lives, policing people, making sure nobody steps out of line, regulating businesses, making sure nobody gets too successful. And if they do, let's punish them for being too individualistic. And when your time comes to leave this earth, and you've lived your life as a wolf, and you've lived for you, your own individual hopes and dreams and goals, and you've molded your life exactly how you want it to look, not the collective, not the unit, not the group. You've molded your life exactly how you want it to look. You can die a happy man. You will die with a gigantic smile on your face, knowing that you did things your way, that only you would know how to do, and that you trusted your gut instincts. And you recognized the sheep trying to turn you into a sheep. And you turned your back on that group. You turned your back on that groupthink. Because the worst thing that you can let happen to your life is to become just another cog in the wheel. Just another sheep out there. Just another member of the group. It's the worst thing you can let happen to your life. Worst thing you can happen is letting your whole life pass you by, and then you're like 80, 90 years old on your deathbed, and you're laying there regretting having lived your life, not for you, but for the group, for the collective. Never pursuing your own goals, your own individual dreams, your own individual hopes, and instead following the beaten path because that's what everyone expected you to do. That's what everyone wanted you to do, but it isn't really what you wanted to do. It's like realizing at the end of your life that your entire life was wasted because you were too afraid to go your own way. You were too afraid to trust your own gut instincts. You were too afraid to take risks. You didn't play life to win, you played life to not lose. Okay, you weren't trying to win in life, you were trying to not lose. And by doing that, you do lose. So ask yourself, at the end of the day, do you want to be a wolf or a sheep? Big difference in the way your life is going to turn out. And ultimately, how happy you will be in life. Until next time, this is Matt Cross. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Also, hit that notification bell up top so that you are notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a ton when you guys actually subscribe to my channel, so don't forget to do that. And for you guys who want to support my work, support my content and everything I'm teaching you guys, a great way to do it, and the best way to do it, is by becoming a premium member of my premium content channel, okay, which I host off of YouTube. And the reason I host it off of YouTube is simply because I don't trust YouTube to not suddenly demonetize or shut down my channel. So I'm hosting my premium Alpha Male channel off of YouTube on a private platform that I am paying for. And that is absolutely the best way to support my work. It's only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons, basically the entire first month of premium content that I have to teach you guys. And like I said, it's only $1. So that's the best way to support my work. And if you want to do that, just click that link below in my description box. It'll take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video.
Oh! So the wolf does. You a wolf? Come on, wolf. Oh! Come on, dog. Oh! Oh! No, I said a wolf, not a rooster. A wolf. Oh! 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 That's a rooster. Give me a wolf.